Alrighty, welcome back to another video, guys. And in today's video, we're gonna be doing an MPL PH week end review. The week just ended, and I decided to record this right away because I have a lot of thoughts on just everything in general, like MPL Philippines specifically. This year has been so entertaining, and there's been so much storylines. It's such this is one of the best seasons that I've ever seen. So I'm really happy on how things are going. Obviously, as an Aurora fan, I'm even more happy, but we'll get to that a bit later. I'm gonna start off with the bottom tier teams and then talk about the top tier teams. So Twisted Minds is 1-6 right now. They have -9 points or 4-13 for game score. I don't really see Twisted Minds making playoffs. I think this is probably the worst team in the league. They almost beat Onic, and they should have beat Onic if they didn't throw game two. I think this team just lacks a lot of discipline. As soon as as soon as a bad plague happens, they just all seem to fall apart. And that kind of goes with Omega, AP, Brand. I'm gonna just get these three teams out of the way because they're not horrible teams. Obviously, they're still in MPL PH, so they're competitive. But these teams I don't know. AP Brand is a bit more exciting. I think Omega should realistically be top 6. Coming into this whole season, all Omega was supposed to be this underdog dark horse team, but I haven't really been seeing that. So yeah, they who did Omega play? Because I swear Omega was so Omega played Onyx and they lost. But you can't really stick it to them. They did play Onic. Onic is still Onic, even if they're struggling somewhat. Omega played against AP Brand 2-0. They even lost to teams that they shouldn't be losing to, or teams that they were expected to win against. AP Brand 2-0 against Onic, they lost. Omega 1-2 against Aurora. So these two teams, they've been kind of struggling. Twisted Minds took a game off Onic. AP Brand took a game off Falcons. So they are being competitive, but it's not they're gonna be able to win the series, which is really what matters. Because yeah, sure, you can have sure, you can win one game in a series, right? But at the end of the day, the winner of the match series matters more. It only really matters when it comes to seeding in the playoffs, is when they look at head to head, how many times you went 2-0, stuff like that. But so yeah. Now let's talk about TNC. TNC. Man, TNC, bro. I was watching that TNC Team Liquid game, and that series was just so frustrating to watch. TNC throws so many times. This team lacks discipline, and they're a relatively new team. Obviously, a lot of the players were either ex Team Liquid players, so that's maybe you can make an argument that's why they were playing so well against them. They know how they play, but bro, that game 3 was literally unlosable. The only reason they lost was because they got too greedy. They should have went lower. They thought they could end. Team Liquid ended up wiping them, and then Team Liquid got Lord, and then they just ended on the Lord push because it was Evolve Lord, and at that point, Team Liquid had too much damage. But Team Liquid wasn't playing the normal Team Liquid that we know. So TNC, the fact that they still lost that series is kind of crazy. They did end up winning game 2, which I actually thought, since they lost game 1, I thought it was just going to be a clean sweep, because Team Liquid, I was like, there's no way Team Liquid is going to prolong this to a game 3, and they ended up losing. So it was just really frustrating to watch. I don't know what happened with TNC, but it's the same thing. Literally the first game of the season when they played against Onic, they literally did the exact same. They just threw a bunch of leads. They got caught out, that Barat's play on Tekelra. So yeah, I really hope that they do, because the second half of the season is gonna start. I really hope that they do start to pick up the pace a bit more, because TNC have pretty much lost to all the top tier teams, right? They need to really just step it up. They lost to Aurora, they lost to Team Liquid, they lost to Onic, they lost to Falcons. So they do need to pick it up. They only really win against bottom tier teams, which I mean, a win is a win, but you really want to be winning against like the top tier teams to make a statement. So I really hope TNC can improve on that front. But I do see this team like making playoffs. Of course, I do think they have a lot of potential. I mean, if they were going head to head against Team Liquid and Onyx, then that's definitely showing a promising start. Build up momentum somewhere. So yeah. Next up, let's talk about Onyx and Falcons. Onyx Onyx is on a win streak, even though they're playing the worst teams in the league. They beat AP Brent 2-0, they beat Omega 2-0, and then they beat Twisted Mind. So Onyx literally had the easiest schedule out of all the top tier teams. They ended up beating all those teams, which is kind of expected. I would have been completely shocked if Onyx dropped a game. If Onyx lost to any of those teams in a series, I would have been really, really surprised. Some people I saw saying where Omega could get a game off Onyx. I thought so too, just based on how shaky Onyx was looking, but they ended up taking care of business against AP Brand and Omega. But unexpectedly, Twisted Minds, the worst team in the league, was able to take a game off Onyx. So the other teams couldn't take a game off Onyx, even though they're better than Twisted Minds. But Twisted Minds somehow took a game off Onyx. And yeah, I mean, Onyx, maybe this is the start of like a momentum booster. They are playing better. Even if they are playing against worse competition, they are just playing better. Their macro seems to be back to normal, I guess. Their micro seems they still make a lot of weird plays, and I still don't really like their draft picks, especially when it comes to mid lane. I think they just keep forcing the Selena pick, and I've said multiple times that the Selena pick just cannot work against like the top tier teams. Like if you pick Selena in like playoffs against like Aurora, Team Liquid, Falcons, or TNC, it's just not gonna work, right? But against these bottom tier teams, you can get away with it more because they don't really know how to counter Onyx, right? They're not on that level. So, yeah. But Onyx, I mean, maybe next week they play TNC, so we'll definitely see like how they do pair up with the somewhat top tier teams. TNC is definitely a worthy opponent for Onyx. But yeah, so let's see. Now Falcons is weird because they got destroyed by Aurora and Team Liquid Philippines. So Falcons can't compete with like the very two best in the league, but they can beat pretty much everyone else. They beat AP Brand 2-1. They only had one series this week, I believe, two. So yeah, they lost against Aurora and then they beat AP Brand. I mean, you are playing against Aurora, the best team in the world, so you can't really stick it to them for like losing, but like I low-key maybe thought Falcons could take a game because Aurora, even if they're better this season by like a long shot, they do drop a lot of games in series. Like most of their series wins are 2-1. So I'm really shocked that they 2-0'd Falcons. Falcons drafts have been really, really weird. I don't know why they're like trying to like, I don't know, man. I just think there's something off about Falcons. Like they're 5-2. They're 10-6 in games, wins and losses. They're third place, but I just think that there's something wrong. Like I feel this team can just be so much better. I personally think that a lot of the players are just washed. I think a lot of the players are just out of their prime. I don't know if it's like a reactionary thing or like their mechanics aren't as mechanically sharp as like the other teams that have a lot of like young talent and resurgent prodigies, but like with Falcons, every time I watch them, it's like they make so many weird plays, so many forced plays. So yeah, definitely need to see how they shape up in the second half of the season. And their first opponent of the second half of the season is Team Liquid Philippines. So it's gonna be put to the test to see if they really are a legit team. Because if they lose again to another top tier team, then it's like, okay, yeah, you're third place, but you only really beat like the middle to bottom tier teams. So yeah. Last but not least, the top two teams, Team Liquid Philippines and Aurora. So let's talk about the Aurora versus Team Liquid game. When Team Liquid Philippines won that first game, I was like, yeah, it's over. I was like, Aurora, they should have won that first game. They were making somewhat of a comeback. And then the second game came, and Team Liquid Philippines was ahead. I'm like, yeah, this is over. Aurora's losing the early game. Team Liquid Philippines is really consistent. They're not going to throw this lead. And then Aurora just completely like shut my mouth. They outplayed them so many times. Demon Kite made an insane play. It was Demon Kite Renegade. They made like this play in like the jungle side of Team Liquid's like area, and they kind of like wiped them out. Then they got Lord. Then Demon Kite like towered over the Novaria, and then the game just ended. Like they got another wipeout. The game just ended so fast. Like it was just super super fast turn of events. And it was really interesting to see the two best teams in the league go head to head because it was competitive. Team Liquid did throw that game 2. They were in the lead and they did throw, but Aurora did make a comeback. And that game 3 is one of the biggest coach diffs you will ever see. I mean, I don't know whose idea it was to pick the Basha and Estes, but that was a super intelligent pick because it's such a curveball pick. Now, I talked about Onyx and their cheese picks and, the Selena, but that's expected. That's Onyx things. You know that they can pull that out. But with Aurora, them picking Basha and Estes is super intelligent because Team Liquid Philippines is not preparing against that. They had no idea that would happen. So, and it just countered their whole draft. I mean, the Bruno takes a while to get going. Obviously, he needs to get his items. The Benedetta can't really do anything. And if he goes in, yeah, you might kill the Estes, but you're going to die in the process of doing so. And we saw that multiple times. So I really just think that Aurora just outplayed Team Liquid Philippines like in second game towards the end. And then the third game, they just completely outdrafted them. And they completely outhands them. So, yeah, and then Team Liquid Philippines also did struggle against TNC. They should have lost that series. So, Team Liquid Philippines should have been 0-2 this weekend if TNC had better discipline. But Team Liquid Philippines is still an incredible team. Definitely one of the most consistent teams in all of the MPL leagues. Definitely one of the favorites to win. And I wouldn't be shocked if they do, end up winning MPL. Like, this team is really, really talented. I don't think their loss against Aurora really changes anything. I mean, it is Aurora. Definitely the favorites to win at this point. So, yeah. And Aurora, man, I mean, what a story. What a comeback for Aurora. Like, from being clowned on, not making it out of groups at M6, choking the finals of MPL Season 14. Like, they've really come a long way. And it seems like they've really found their play style. They know exactly how they want to play. And the thing about Aurora that's so impressive is that so many of their players have such massive hero pools. They can play so many different styles, but still make it somewhat efficient. Like, we saw the barrage come in. Sometimes it doesn't work, but sometimes it does work. And in game 2 today against Falcons, it did work. Obviously, Domin Kite has just been, to me, the best player in the league. This guy is so consistent. Like, he is so intelligent. Renegade has been on fire. Definitely the best roam. Demon Kite has been incredible. UA has been super solid. Edward has been super solid. Like, they're all clicking. They're all, firing on all cylinders. And I genuinely believe that there's really nothing stopping Aurora from winning MPL besides themselves, right? Like, I hope they don't get too complacent. Obviously, you're first place, but the season is still not over. You still have to play the second half of the season. You still have to win playoffs. But, if this team keeps improving, and they keep closing that gap between them and the second place team, this team will be very, very scary. This team will be a dangerous threat to any team in world MLBB. Like, this team is insane when they're on fire. I definitely think they're gonna win MPL. Maybe that's just bias, but I genuinely think that they should win MPL based on just how the season is going. And it's really rare for the first place team, in the first half of the season, to drop off drastically. It's only happened once, which was Onyx in season 13 when they were first place and they dropped to 6th place. So Aurora is definitely making playoffs. They're definitely making at least top 2. So, yeah. But anyways, that is it. That's pretty much everything. I'm going to be doing a prediction video a couple days later. I'm not going to do it this video because I really just wanted to talk about the games and all that stuff. But yeah, the second half of the season starts next week, and it's going to be very, very interesting to see if some teams are going to get worse or some teams are going to improve. Definitely going to be much more exciting since it is almost playoff time, which is the most exciting time of the year. But anyways, guys, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.